Post-acquisition integration. In this video, I am going to be talking about the topic that no one ever talks about, post-acquisition integration. Now, this is so important to make sure that you get your post-acquisition integration correct. Although this is a huge topic, I mean, you can talk on this for hours, and in our training, we go over it, the specific steps in that post-acquisition integration, depending on what type of acquisitions you've done, what kind of goals you have with regards to your acquisitions. There's different steps that you can take. But let's take a look at some of the principles that you need to understand when you are thinking about integrating your business and doing the handover of your business. So there are different ways that you need to think about post-acquisition integration, but these things need to be done with every single business. So let's go over them. The first thing is that the legal side. You need to ensure that this is more in handover actually. So you need to make sure that you become the owner of the business. Now when I say you, I mean a holding company, right? So a holding company becomes the owner of the business that you've just acquired. Generally speaking, your lawyers and accounts can do that, but you just need to make sure that it's done correctly. Like for example, sometimes they can make mistakes even after, our lawyer on our most recent acquisition, they've done multiple acquisitions with us, for us I should say, and they still made a mistake. So we just have to double check that it's done correctly, but you have to become the owner of the business. Number two, and this is the second most important, because once you become the legal owner of the business, then you need to get control of the money. That's the most important thing that you need to do. Getting control of the money, because ultimately a business is about making money. So getting control of the bank accounts, getting control of the accounts receivable department, getting control of all of the payment processes, all of that side of things needs to be, make sure that, it's in your name. When I say in your name, it's like you're the main person, or your company is the main company that everything goes to. So getting control of the money so that if, you know that the funds are flowing in the right direction to you and your company. The third most important, and in fact the most complex, is people. So people is very, very important that you spend time. Not a lot of people talk about this, but businesses are made up of people, right? So you need to make sure that, especially the key place, you don't have to speak to every single person. Yeah. If the business that you've just acquired have got, greater than, I would say, 40, 50 employees, they don't have to talk to everyone. You talk to the management team. That's who you need to talk to. If the business that you've just taken over got less than, say, 40 employees, definitely less than 40 employees, then, just get everyone together in the room and say, right, we've taken over the business. Now, again, I mean, we just took over a business and we didn't do that with every single person, but we did that with, the main team, the senior team. There were less than 40 people in that business that we acquired. They found it a little bit weird, but it's fine. They're doing their jobs. They're getting paid. That's what they care about. Employees care about their pay. They don't care about anything else, right? As long as their working conditions don't depreciate, they don't get worse, and they get paid, that's what they care about. But ensuring that you understand the key things that ensure that the people continue to work for the business, that's what you need to do. So that's why definitely the management team needs to understand that, look, we're here to protect them, to help them continue in their roles, and to possibly even give them progression opportunities. Then that's the thing. Yeah, let's not get into that. I mean, I was going to talk about a few other things with regards to people, the things that you can expect, but we'll be on this video, will be too long. I mean, okay, let's talk about a couple of things. People will think when you are buying the business that, number one, they're going to get fired. Okay, so that's what they're scared about. The first thing that they're scared about is that, do they have their jobs, right? So you need to tell them that they've got their jobs, unless even if you're going to fire them, yeah, because let's say for example you're doing a hostile takeover and you're going to fire everyone. In the initial, you're not going to fire everyone straight away, because it doesn't work like that, right? You need to make sure that the handover of customers have been done before you fire on anyone. So even if you are going to fire people, then you need to make sure that the people know that their jobs are safe, right? And there's a consultation progress if you want to fire a bunch of people and everything. That's legal side of things. We don't need to get into it. So let people know that their jobs are safe, so they continue in their roles until they're not. Whether that's if they leave or you fire them, right? So people need to understand that their roles are safe. The second thing is that you need to manage expectations with regards to pay, so that their pay is not going to change. Now, sometimes what you have, and we actually had this very recently, We took over a business and there was one particular employee who done quite a lot of work on the integration side of things in the business that we took over. And for some reason, they thought they would do a pay rise. I don't know why they thought that, because they were doing their job to keep their job, right? So they said to us, oh, look, we've done all of these things over the last 7 weeks. We think that we are due a pay review. I just sent an email back. You're dreaming, because you've just done exactly the same thing that you should have done. The old owner could have done these things that they had to do additional work. They didn't decide to do it. We've done it. So therefore, you're not getting a pay rise. I just told the manager, I said, look, this is how we think about pay. This is what our principles are. We've got clear principles. And if they meet those principles, then we will review their pay. But whatever they've done has not done their pay. So you need to make sure that people are aware that their jobs are safe, even if they're not. And you need to make sure that they understand that they're going to get paid in the way they get paid. Now, in some cases, for example, you might want to change the pay structure, but there's a consultation period that needs to happen, and you need to get everyone bought in. You really need to sell them on that, right? So we changed a particular pay structure of a business that we acquired, but we did it over time, and we gave as much communication. In that case, I actually went myself. And I communicated that to the employees. And I said, look, this is what you're currently getting, and then this is what you're going to get. And why we're going to be shifting over to that. And we lost one employee. That's fine. Who cares? It didn't have an effect on business in any major way. So, sometimes you do need to do that, but you need to make sure that you've done it with a lot of communication and a lot of care. So that's people. The next thing that you need to take into consideration with post-acquisition integration is systems and security access. So you need to make sure that you have access to all of the systems. Now remember, you're not there day to day. However, just have a database in which you have control over logins and of systems and security. So if, for example, for whatever reason, let's say you need to fire someone, let's say someone leaves, you need to hire new people, that you know what those logins are, you know what those accesses are of those main things to make sure that the overall business continues to run. You don't need the particular login of a junior employee of a system. You don't need that. What I mean is talking about the administrative level. So on the administrative level, you need to have access to the systems and the security access of anything to do with systems and security, whether it's IT, technology, or alarm systems, CCTV, all of those kinds of things. So after that's been done, because now you've got complete control of the business, the next thing is customers. Now, if, for example, you're in B2B, then you just need to make sure that there's control over the customer relationships. So they're not leaving with the old owner when the old owner does leave, because I would advise you should get rid of them as soon as possible out of the business, whether that's in a week, ideally it's 3 months, but I'm not past that. Sometimes the older owner can stay for longer, but we don't recommend that. So just there's control of the customer relationships that, for whatever reason, if someone goes, the customers stay. That's what it's about. So ensuring that the customers are completely taken care of. The next thing is the suppliers. Now the suppliers is interesting because what you can do is you can play suppliers off each other. Especially for a business owner at the moment, and you've bought a business which does the same thing as you, right? So then you can play the suppliers of each other to who gives you the best deal. And whoever gives you the best deal, you stay with them, right? And whoever doesn't give you the best deal, they're gone. And I mean overall. So like we have one supplier, we got one supplier. I really like the supplier because anytime we buy a business and they come with other suppliers who are not them, we see certain products that they're getting for cheaper. So let's say we bought a business and their supplier is giving them the same product that we purchased but for cheaper. Our supplier matches the prices, right? So when you get to a certain size, you'll be able to do that. So that's why size matters, yeah? If anyone tells you anything different, they're lying. So size does matter because you can do things like this. So you can get your current suppliers, or you can get suppliers to match prices because you're buying larger quantities, and they'll rather keep you than keep these small people who only buy small quantities of their products. So suppliers really like that. So play suppliers of each other and make sure that you integrate them properly. So these are some of the things that you need to think about post-acquisition integration. And again, no business is exactly the same. So therefore, when you buy a business, then you need to take into consideration, okay, what are the things that need to be taken into in our training program. We have like lists to go through. So it's like, okay, make sure this is done, this is done, this is done, this is done, this is done. And then when it's done, then you can move on to this other thing. And when you get to a certain size like we are right now, is that I have an acquisition, or I should say integration team. So there are 2 people specifically. They go, and there are 3 people actually, but 2 people are mainly involved. And they go and they do a lot of the integration side of things, so I don't have to do anything. I have to do just the real main most important ones, like normally getting access to the money and the legal side. Everything else, sometimes on the people side of things. So legal, money, and people is most of the thing that I'm doing, and everything else is handled by other people. So when you get to a certain size and experience of doing acquisitions, and especially if you're working with me as a client, then I could guide you on how to manage your existing team to help you on the integration side of things, so you don't have to do all of the work. Because remember, getting yourself out of the day-to-day of your business is one of the most important things that you need to do to be able to do acquisitions in the first place. So if you want to find out more about how to do those, how to do acquisitions, and how to do post-acquisition integration, carry on watching videos on the channel.